The July Blues. I cheated on my husband. We have been together for almost 24 years, married for 8. We have 3 children ages 16, 9 and 2. We had some rough years in our relationship, some worse than others. After my husband was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2009, his attitude towards me changed. He was bitter, angry and physically and emotionally abusive to me. Never to our children. I am a survivor of CSA that I didn't even remember until my husband found out that I had been texting another man. When I was confronted and made to leave our house and stay in a hotel, all the memories of my abuse came crashing down on me. I should have gotten help then, but I did not. I ended the year with the other man and my husband, and I decided that we needed to work on our family as a whole, not separate. My husband said that he forgave me, although he didn't. He was still so angry with me for my deceit, justifiably, and we haven't been truthful with each other since. A while later, unsure of exact time frame, the other man contacted me again, and I, having very low self-esteem and feeling as though I was in a loveless marriage, made the worst mistake of my life and cheated on my husband. A saw was started. I have no justification for my actions, and the background is just that, not excuses at all. I knew it was wrong and wanted so desperately to wake up from the bad dream I had allowed to happen. Other man tried to keep me under his control after I told him that we were wrong and the affair needed to stop. He threatened to tell my husband the truth. He threatened suicide. He would use anything he could to try to keep me around. I was miserable and I took it out on my husband and kids. I yelled at everyone and was in a bad mood all the time. The saw ended. I would not continue to do wrong. I get pregnant in 2014 with my husband's child. I had no doubts that the child was my husband's. The saw ended months prior to becoming pregnant. Other man again threatened to tell my husband about the affair and insisted that I have a paternity test done to prove to him that the child wasn't his. The last time I saw the other man was when I met him for the paternity test in 2015. Of course, it came back that the child is not his. I thought I could keep everything a secret from my husband and that he would never find out. Wrong. He found out on March 12, 2018. I have never seen so much pain in anyone's eyes. I am so sad and shameful for my actions. I am more remorseful than my husband knows. We are attempting reconciliation at this time, and I pray that we can make it work. We are getting IC at this time and hope to start MC soon. We had taken each other for granted for so long that we were like roommates instead of partners. After D-Day, there have been so many emotions. Hurt, pain, fear, shame, sense of loss, depression, crying, loss of self-esteem, etc. We have also had a lot of love, tears of joy, passion, desire, soul-touching talks and emails. There is so much love in our relationship, and we are working very hard to be who the other one needs, wants. I hate saying this because it sounds horrible, but we have both said that something good has come out the affair. Our renewed sense of love for each other. There are bad days where he is so hurt that he can't function. There are days where we are so in love that it makes me want to cry happy tears. We are dedicated to each other and are both making tremendous strides and improvements in our lives together. I am posting this to seek information because we are so connected that when he has a bad day, I do too. He needs me to stay positive and hold him when he is feeling bad, but seeing him hurt so badly makes me sad as well. Neither of us is perfect, nor we have both made mistakes in our past. My mistake, a word my husband hates, says it was a decision I made, not a mistake, could mean the end of our marriage if he can't forgive me. I know that he wants to forgive me. I know that he loves me and I love him. We are better together than apart. I hate myself for ever letting another man in my life, and I would give anything to go back in time and talk to my husband about our problem and work them out together instead of being a cheater and a liar. I need advice on how to keep my emotions in check when he hurts so much. My heart breaks for his already broken heart. He is my everything and I want to help him heal. Comment: you made a choice, not a mistake. Until you get that, you won't be helping him really or yourself. That is the thing, you need to change your mindset to be a good choice for a spouse. Love is about giving, not what you get. The best thing you can do for yourself and your family is to really work on you, especially getting help for your CSA. If you want your husband and you to get to the point where you are safe for him, then I would pay attention to what these folks say. These folks are going to give the most accurate picture of where his mind will eventually be. There are folks on here like Aftercare who have truly changed. You can read it in their posts. They have the respect of the posters who have been cheated on, because when they post you can tell their thinking on these issues is correct. You can get there too, but you have a great deal of work to do. Most of your problem has to do with the way you think. You just don't see that yet. The folks who have been cheated on should be a good barometer to you on if you are truly getting it to the point where your husband sees you are getting it. Yes, they are going to be harsh, but assuming they are not abusive, they are going to be honest. You have cheated twice. You don't need advice like, "You are poor, dear." You need, "What the hell are you doing?" You need to be held accountable, and you have not done a good job of that. This board can help you with that if you are willing to listen and change. The only way through this to a better life with or without your husband is to really change the way you think and your reactions to things. That is going to take a lot of work to retrain your brain. This site can be a part of that if you let it. Let me ask you a question to start. You say your husband would be abusive to you. Has that changed? If so, when? If not, how do you think that is going to change, or does this affair just add more to that problem? I am really not for anyone staying in an abusive relationship even as penance. If he was abusing you, that was also not a mistake. One other thing, you want to be the one to heal his pain, but frankly that is not your role. You are the cause of his pain, he has to heal himself. What you can do is show him that you love him and have changed and are safe. I also think for a man, feeling that he is desired helps. All of this comes with hard work to really change, and years of proving yourself as safe. Unfortunately, after years of lies, he would be foolish to believe you, and it will not help him to feel safe to deny logic. That is the harsh truth of what you have done. Accept it and deal with the situation you both put yourself in. This is the new rules of the game now. OP responds, I was upset before being caught. I was carrying so much shame and guilt that I was angry and sad all the time. I took my emotions out on my family and coworkers. I feel as though a weight was lifted off of me after the affair came to light. I had kept so much bottled up that I wasn't the same person anymore. I was very upset, just not the way I am now after seeing the pain in my husband's eyes. I was relieved when he found out and wish I would have told the truth years ago. My marriage was not good when the affair was going on, even worse after the affair because of my guilt. We have both started individual counseling. Because of our financial situation, we cannot start marriage counseling at this time. The OM threatened to tell my husband about the affair if I didn't keep some sort of communication with him. I believe that he thought I was lying to him about my due date because he wanted to be the father. He demanded a DNA test be done or he would expose me for the cheater and liar I am. OM was a real piece of work. I've never hated anyone in my life except for him. Even the male who allowed and watched my CSA occur. He would say he was going to kill himself every time I told him that I wanted to end all communication, X himself, or finish ruining my life. As I said before, I'm not using my past as an excuse. I was giving the background of my life. I do take responsibility for my actions. No one forced me to lie and cheat. I chose to. It was a choice that I will regret for the rest of my life. I wish I would have come clean years ago. I was stupid and thought I would be able to keep such an enormous secret. I see how my brain deciphers life, and I am a black and white kind of person. I am working very hard to change this. My mind immediately goes to the worst that can happen in a situation, every situation actually. I understand that I have a lot of hard work ahead of me, but my husband is worth it. He is so worth it. He is an amazing man who didn't deserve to have his heart ripped out, stomped on and tossed to the side. After D-Day, after a couple of weeks of no contact unless it dealt with our kids, he looked me in my eyes and promised me that his hands would never again touch me angrily. He said that he would only touch me lovingly. D-Day was the last time he laid his hands on me to hurt me. I believe him when he says he's sorry and is a changed man. I believe him when he says he loves me, and I believe him when he says he has remorse for the abuse. I wasn't going to add that part to my story because I didn't want anyone to feel pity for me. I decided to so that my post was truthful. I have failed so many people. I am ashamed of myself and hate who I am. I did fail my husband and my children, and I was very selfish. I wasn't thinking of anyone else but myself. He doesn't trust me at all, and I completely understand that. I am trying to give him truths that he can touch. DNA test, STD tests. I send him pictures of where I am if we aren't together. He has all of my passwords to everything. I want him to feel like he can trust something in life, even if he can't trust me. I know it will take a very long time to earn anything back from him, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes, anything he needs from me, changing myself and my thought process. I am willing and ready to go as deep as he will let me. My bad choices will haunt both of us forever. I pray that he can find some peace in our renewed love for each other. My goal is to be the wife that he deserves because he deserves so much better than my past has given to him. My husband is very understanding of my CSA. He reads a lot about it and the effects it can have on a person. He wanted me to get help when I first remembered the ex. It was my choice to rug sweep my emotion and seek attention from another man. I used the ex and abuse as a reason. I was ashamed of what I was remembering and didn't know how to cope. I am working with my IC to understand that I need boundaries and have to retrain my brain to think correctly. I trust my husband, and I am certain that he will never do it again. He has taken amazing strides with his anger, which is weird because he should be angrier now than he has ever been before. I have seen his improvements and have faith in his ability to control himself now. I am being open and honest. I did trickle truth because I'm stupid, so I hurt him again, and he says he's just waiting for more trickle truth. He is so hurt, and it is heart-wrenching to know that I did this to him. There wasn't a possibility of the other man being our child's father, but it was close. I believe, like you, that this was what hit him the hardest, and he is having a bad day today because of that. I am trying not to lose hope. Today is a day that he doesn't want to speak to me, much less see me. This is my fear, that he will try his hardest to forgive me, but he won't be able to. I'm scared to death. Should I just let him go and save his time and let him heal quicker, or do I fight for him in hopes he will overcome? DNA test done on all of our children and sent off today. I have told him that I would take a polygraph. After I trickled truth and tore his fresh wounds open again, he knows the whole truth. There is no possibility whatsoever that our kids are not his. I'm not worried about the DNA tests. It was something that I wanted to do so that he can have a truth. I trickled about the number of physical encounters with the other man. For some stupid reason, I thought a lower number wouldn't hurt as bad. Stupidity. Absolutely one of my most selfish moments. Comment. I like it when you say you will do everything possible to fix this. Will you? If you will then do this, tell him to file for divorce. Then tell him to go and date other women, and that you will remain faithful, and that you will fight to prove to him that you are better than them. In the end, when divorce is due, then tell him that he will decide then if you are still right for him or not. If he decides you are, then he will stop the divorce and you will once again have your marriage. Why would only you get to bang other people? If you thought you have right to do it, then he has every right to date other women and see if he will be happier. How about that? Will you do it? Or your talk of doing anything is really just a talk? OP responds, everyone has their own opinion and I respect that. I have a demanding job that requires a 12-hour shift. I also have 3 children, a sick mother and a husband. A teenager who has summer school and a job but no driver's license, so I'm in my car a lot. Plus catching my daughter's sickness. No comment kept me from responding back, only lack of time on my part. Wanted to touch base on a few things that have stood out to me. First, the comments on the abuse I've been through. I have lived with abuse from the men in my life since I was a small child. Severe physical and emotional abuse from men who were supposed to love and care about me. The abuse that I have endured from my husband was not what everyone is thinking though. I guess I should have made my story clearer. We did some pretty dumb things when we were younger and we weren't always in the best frame of mind. This was all before we had children and we have grown and changed. My husband does not beat me on a daily basis. My husband does not put his hands on me, period. We have been in arguments where anger gets out of control and words are used to hurt. After words can't hurt anymore, pushing and shoving come into play and sometimes items were thrown or broken. He would almost always try to defuse the situation, which would make me want to fight more. Neither of us was right nor innocent, but my thoughts on this is that we cannot move forward if we keep dwelling on the past. I have forgiven some of the men from my past, not all of them, and I told my husband that I have forgiven him. At this point, all I can do is hope and pray that the changes I've already seen in him and his remorse of his actions will keep him on the right path. Same with my infidelity. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I will never revisit my past choices and hope he doesn't revisit his past either. Only time will tell, and we have both said to the other that there will be no other chances if one of us breaks our promise to the other. If I cheat again, he's gone. If he hits again, I'm gone. Understood. As far as getting a divorce and living together and my husband being able to date, I have told him many times that he has the right to hurt me as I've hurt him. That doesn't mean we have to divorce for him to sow his oats. If he thinks this will help him, he is free to go look, touch, taste, whatever it is that will help him. My husband has told me that is not him though. He does not feel as though a revenge affair would help matters at all. Even if we were to divorce first, he would still feel as though he were cheating on me. He does not want me to feel the pain that I have selfishly inflicted upon him. We have been together for a very long time and we want to make this work. We are going through so much right now, but there is still so much love there, some that has been untapped for many years. I honestly believe that we can and will make it through these trials and be better off for it. I am truly sorry that I did not clarify my initial post in reference to the abuse I've been through, as I was not looking for people to judge anything other than my actions and to help me be there for my husband. I felt the abuse is a topic that needed to be mentioned for a little background into my skewed thinking. He is a kind man who has had a lot of crap thrown his way. He is very strong to even think of giving me a second chance, so why shouldn't I give him one as well? We haven't dealt with our past until now. Today and our future is where I will be, not in the past. We are both changing for the better. My comment: you guys think she is a cake eater, or she is fooling around? Story 2. Married almost 20 years. 2 beautiful children, 1 freshman in college, 1 freshman high school. My wife and I own a business together and have worked side by side now 12 plus years. It has been a challenge at times being around each other 24/7, but we have had a super relationship and always worked through the issues to be happy and seemingly content. We have been active churchgoers for almost as long as we have been married, but have fallen off our spiritual commitment after an unfortunate church incident. We have lived in another part of the country away from our home, family, friends for 14 years now and have only a few true friends. Most are still back east that we stay in contact with Facebook. Physically we are off the charts and enjoy every moment together. Here we go. I met my wife in college and I chased her for 3 years, eventually becoming intimate late senior year once, but she still kept her distance. After that she still played the game and really didn't commit to a relationship, partly because school was going to end in a couple of months and who knew where anyone was going to end up. Graduation happened and I was about to move on, but we ended up spending an amazing summer together that was one for the ages. We feel deeply in love and eventually moved in together about 10 months later. A few years passed and just before we got married, I found an old sketchbook, journal of hers from senior year at college. She wrote several passages about a flame in college that I knew which she had kindred, passionate feelings for, but at the time he was in a serious relationship with another person. He was a handsome and charming guy that I could see my wife light up when she was around him. Never thought much about it, but I did notice since we weren't dating. Soon after college, he eventually married his longtime girlfriend, and after about 16 years, 2 years ago, recently divorced. Going back to the journal I saw where C wrote about our first time together. I literally turned the page and there was a passage which referenced a night she had been intimate together with this other guy during a particular movie just a few short weeks after we had been together for the first time. She wrote in the journal how she professed her love for him that he'll never know. It was a fling and he kept dating his girlfriend and she kept having feelings for him and never told him as far as I know. Right or wrong, at the time I confronted her and she told me about her feelings that she had for him, but time had passed and she was with me, and that is all that mattered, is what I vaguely remember a lot running through my head at the time. Overall, I look back and her explanation never sat well with me or was entirely convincing. We managed to work through things and life went on. We eventually got married a couple of years later, had incredible children, grew even closer together spiritually, physically never any issues, had great careers, and then we moved across country several years later where we still reside. A few years back my wife got into Facebook and eventually connected with all our friends from college and eventually her old flame, more hers than his I believe. He eventually friend requested me, which I thought why not, and accepted. Over time I saw the banter back and forth between them on FB. He eventually separated from his wife and divorced 2 years ago. They have 2 beautiful kids. My wife was close friends to them in school but didn't keep in contact until this happened. She exchanged emails and spoke to them both at length separately on the phone, but there was never a "we have to save their marriage" and intervention like we did with a couple of other friends' marriages that failed or were failing. Coincidentally, his father had left him and his mother about the same age as his kids at the time, and it was a self-fulfilling prophecy that he was destined to the same fate. From my standpoint, he has seemed to brush things under the table on FB. Comments like, "Oh, the kids are cool with this in my new apartment," etc. Each parent tries to outduel the other on FB in front of friends and family with the time they spend with their kids with postings. He posts selfies left and right and trumps his newfound freedom. Very, very sad. We found out that he worked, traveled a lot, and the wife discovered he was fooling around with someone at the office. Again, not one to judge, but not the best character for leaving her and the kids. She was and is still devastated. Months go by and he starts endorsing her on LinkedIn weekly, even posting flashbacks to college from time to time and listing a bunch of people including my wife. She would like the majority of his posts but never the wife's. At the time we were going through some challenges due to business stress and both her parents being ill. Eventually my wife's father passed, which was devastating to her. I didn't know how to handle it and should have been more consoling, inquiring, but from the outside she stayed strong and didn't break down much. Her mom moved into our house and things were very tense. She never had a close relationship with her mom, so this meant a lot. We honestly never thought deeply about this impact to our lives. This was also the last year our daughter would be in the house and soon heading out to college. My daughter desperately wanted to go back home and get out of Dodge. My mother-in-law has headed back home for a good part of the year, so we get back on track and have worked through things and are in a very good spot. Last year she came down with her 3 bout of cancer, which has forced her to stay there, so we have had an extended time together. Mom is doing well and will get her last treatment in a few months. Then will head back to live with us again. I am looking forward to it so I can make a difference and embrace this differently now. I have always been cursed with this sixth sense about people, and I am usually right 9 times out of 10 about people's character, intentions, or motivations. I feel that FB allows her to peer into his life without being there. Last year on Valentine's Day, as I was walking by her office, glass walls, as I see her answer her mobile phone and bang, there goes that smiling facial glow I had seen before. I just knew it was probably him. It had been years. She didn't say much and walked out the door to the restroom. She eventually came back and stayed in her office for a while. That afternoon I asked who it was and she said it was him. Bam. Curiously I asked what the reason, and she said she thought a local convention related to his business that happened to take part at our facility would be something of interest to him. She had invited him clear cross country for the event. Wow, needless to say I was incredibly upset he never made the trip, but this caused a short rift between us which we eventually worked through. Soon after her flame's father passed, so there was this connection that seemed all too familiar from my standpoint. I believe they spoke and found comfort in speaking to each other due to the series of life events that happened to them both. My insecurity has grown to be consuming at times, as I just feel she is always having this clear insight into his life through FB that infuriates me. There is this lingering what if now that he is single again just keeps wearing me down. We have each other passwords because we own the business together, and any emails between them end where one my wife writes to him. I do have a lot to ask and to share and look forward to reconnecting soon. So, wish it could be over a good bottle of wine. Lots of love. This escalated to exchange that my wife suggested they should talk via Zoom with each other while I was away on business shortly. She offered doing it over a glass of wine with winks. My mortality has been lingering in my mind, and the what if, would she go back with him if something happened to me, has been floating in my mind. Really not healthy, I understand. Overall, I am head over heels in love with this woman. Our family means the world to us and we work hard day in and day out to enjoy life, business, and each other. Business puts an added burden, but we talk and deal with each issue and resolve in a loving way. She is so intelligent and compassionate, and everyone just is drawn to her because she is one of the true people person. I have always felt fortunate that I am married to her and that she is mine and I am hers. For me, I am outgoing but more serious. Business has hardened me, used to travel out, which I love. My compassionate side has diminished over the years. I believe she deeply loves me as well. We travel and like the finer things in life. Physically, things are off the charts between us and we mutually satisfy each other in amazing ways. My wife is an emotional person, which has been amplified by her dad's passing, also being so far from home and old friends for all these years. She's taken a toll. This has been a source of conflict and case where she shares about being unhappy at times. My daughter is now in college back home and my wife truly lives vicariously through her. She even lives in her old woman's boarding house in the same room. Thrill for my wife, not so much for my daughter. We didn't get back much over the years, but since our daughter is there in college, we have been back 6 out of the last 8 months. Last week while I was traveling, we had an incident that I self-inflicted by checking up on her. She was not happy and accusing me of always needing to know what she was doing, which I am guilty of, which again, reasons I detailed above. I began to worry how my insecurity was getting in the way of things. I got home and we made up and got back on track. This is truly an amazing aspect of our life that we can talk through this, cry together, and get past things. I see my issue of needing to know and have a desire to come to terms with it. That next day, as I was spinning this last episode through my head trying to work out the reasoning and rationale, I soon realized that the journal, yes, it's still around in our treasure chest of photos and memories, and her writings for this other man and Facebook is at the root of the issue. I pulled the book out and reread what I hadn't laid eyes on over 20 years ago. It became painful again, but I kept it inside and just dealt with it. You can't script for this stuff. That evening we head over to some friend's house for a dinner, and don't you know, the satellite radio station starts playing the soundtrack of that movie that my wife was intimate with this other guy. Not a song or two, but all the songs spaced out for almost 3 hours. Wow. She even said to everyone, I haven't seen this movie in years, laughingly. We don't ever listen to them. Not sure why. Well, what do you think is going through my head? To add insult to injury, she recently reached out through FB to another flame, also in the journal. She had feelings for and invited him to participate in a business effort we have going on with our business. Again, out of the blue and a total stretch. At this point I am on high alert. This is compounding things a great deal. Lots of questions. Is she searching for something? Am I not giving her something that she is lacking? Is this a midlife for her? She is now on a business trip visiting our daughter and will be back tomorrow. During the resolution of our last chat, I had alluded to wanting a deeper conversation but didn't go into details. My goal and hope are to share my deepest concerns, insecurities, and desire for her to purge these events from our lives once and for all. I want to share my issue, then lovingly ask her to unfriend him from all social media and destroy these journals based on what this is doing to our marriage or has the potential to do. Need to refocus and move forward. My concern is that she has this kindred connection with this guy and feels she needs to hold on to this relationship, leading to her getting very upset and causing a deep rift, resentment that will linger in our relationship. Is this selfish of me? Am I justified? Am I overreacting? Do we need counseling? Really need help from the group with any advice as to how I should approach this, or if I am the one who needs help? Not sure anymore. In business I take no prisoners and am very successful handling global corporation and very demanding projects. I too can be demanding but have pride in every aspect of my life: family, wife, business, career. I truly believe she is my soulmate. I sadly don't have that confidence. She thinks I am hers, no reason other than gut. The uncertainty and insecurity related to this matter is causing me to lose control, I feel, and that it will continue to impact our marriage if not dealt with. I want to put this behind us, love this woman unconditionally and unequivocally, but I am really not sure how to tee this issue up, express my position with full disclosure. Demand will play out. Next, approach from an apology for not being there to console her, lead into the fog issue, counseling, then demand ties get cut and purged forever. Remove journals from our home. They are actually in our bedroom treasure chest, but not destroy. Come around to our marriage and family as a whole, and then be prepared for big challenges, denial, or potentially worse before it gets better. How should I handle the disclosure of the inappropriate emails? Zoom. Our emails aren't a secret and we know each other's passwords. There is no active covering up. They all are still there. Also look for counseling for both of us and for her. All this comes when we are taking a 3-week vacation this summer to a destination she has been wanting to go for 30 years. She even shared with me last week that she wanted to renew our marriage vows to each other with the kids present, which is what I'm planning to suggest as well. So, this was huge. Seems if we work towards this milestone we can align and walk step for step through life. Do I have it right? This is so hard because I have come to the realization that she may have seen her father and these guys. They have identical personalities, outgoing, always smiling, personable, surrounded by others, and the center of attention. I was a similar guy, but we have gone through a lot in our business, and move across country has changed us over the last 14 years. The timing of her reconnection is just short of the 1-year anniversary last year. Second year just passed. By cutting them out, it will be more impactful and devastating. I can never be her father, but I can work to be compassionate and focus on her needs, which I thought I was, but in hindsight I haven't, especially during her grieving. For me, they need to be completely out. This burden has to come off our marriage, and we need to focus on each other and our needs first and foremost. God, marriage, family, business. She is coming back from a few days in her old stopping grounds with my daughter, living in her past mostly and through my daughter. I heard do it right away. But if I hit her with this now, it will be very, very emotional. She will blow up. The outcome and her decision will speak volumes of where we are at. On the other hand, it may also be perfect timing to bring closure and start walking into the next chapter of our lives together. We will soon find out if our marriage is being held together by our intimacy and nothing else, or if there a foundation that we can share to rebuild what will hopefully be our happy and long future together as husband and wife. My comment: why waste your time? On the surface it looks like it ended well for the most part, but even now you are worrying about her reaching out to old flames. Too bad you didn't get the hint after 1 year of chasing her. You could have found a woman that would have worshipped the ground you walked on. Instead, you have this dream girl of yours that is turning into your nightmare.